Alright, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Fiasco and welcome back to the channel, and today we have the first official race of the Fiasco NASCAR series coming from Daytona International Speedway. We got the Daytona 500. It's the biggest race of the year, and before we get started, we have a few new drivers that came in after Chicago. We have Rusty Shackelford in the number 1, Freddie Martinez, Tim Wilson, Kenny Callaway, Mike Grivna, and Eric Olson, all coming in after the preseason race from Chicago. And here on the screen we have the starting lineup for today's race. We have Brian Pagan on the pole for today's race at Daytona. And if you guys are still interested in joining the league, you can do that. Just comment down below what number you want and I'll see if I can hook you up. And here's the championship format we have for this season. We have 12 races this season. Only the top 20 finishers get points, and the driver with the most points at the end of the season will become champion. And here we have the season schedule. We have Daytona, Richmond, Charlotte, Bristol, Dover, Watkins Glen, Phoenix, Kentucky, Talladega, Rockingham, Michigan, and we finish it off with Homestead, Miami. So here we're coming off of turn 4. We're getting ready to start the season of the Fiasco NASCAR series. First season about to get going. Brian the Corn Boy Pagan is about to take the green flag. And let's go racing, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it. And we see right in the beginning of the restart, Brian Pagan got a little bit of a head start, but maybe it was too much because he had no drafting help. So now the 48 of Tim Wilson in that Hendrick Motorsports car, he's going to take the lead, and on the inside of him we have the number 2 Los Fiasco. We see coming down the backstretch here, almost reaching top speeds of 190 miles per hour already. These drivers are going to be staying above 200 miles per hour throughout the entirety of this race. It's flat out all the time on this track. And Bob Ross in that 33 car holding that bottom line. Is he going to be able to lead the first lap of the Fiasco NASCAR series? And yes, he will. The number 33 of Bob Ross will lead the first official lap in the Fiasco NASCAR series. And we have Alex Nieto in the number 11 now in the bottom lane, trying to take the lead from 13 Kyle Bunch. And you see these drivers are already going 3 wide, about 4 rows back. Intense racing here on Daytona. And we have a crash in the back of the pack right now. You see the 25 of Jason Sambon is involved. 78 Eric Lopez manages to get through. The 3 of Adi Borges collected once again in a wreck. We see she was in a wreck last week at the preseason race in Chicago. 43 Dario Perales. The 23 Cameron Barrero. Now we gotta check out this replay to see exactly what happened. We're gonna have a little bit of a wide shot here. We see the number 1 of Rusty Shackelford gets a corner of, I believe, the 43 that was of Dario Perales, and that just collects a bunch of drivers coming out of the turn 2. We're gonna take a look at the perspective of Adi Borges and her 3 Chevrolet. You see she's following the number 1. The 1 gets a peek on the inside but clips the 43. She clips the 1. She comes back up, hits the 43. And that's about 6 drivers already with damage in the Daytona 500. We see the 78 of Eric Lopez managing to get through. But we're going to hop on board here to see how much damage he actually got. We see he's following Fernando Luna. Fernando Luna in the number 10 actually won the preseason race last week in Chicago. We're trying to see if he can repeat his efforts here at the Daytona 500. Absolutely nowhere to go for Eric Lopez, just smashing into the back of the 3. And now we're going to hop on board with Jose Hernandez. We know he was collected in a wreck last week in Chicago. Does he get through? He holds that high line and barely manages to miss the 23 of Cameron Barrero, following in line of the number 10 of Fernando Luna. Luna's been pretty good when it comes to wreck avoidance and staying up front. Now, although he may be not up front for this race right now, he might be able to avoid enough wrecks towards the point where he would be able to come through and maybe go back-to-back in the first 2 races in the Fiasco NASCAR series. And now we're back on this restart. We have number 11, Alex Nieto, holding the lead right now ahead of Brian Cornboy Pagan. Behind him is Kyle Bunch. We have Sean Rigas in the 17, the 24 of Freddie Martinez, and we have Jade Pagan in that 56 car, sponsored by the Nintendo Switch. Haley Deegan's future husband, ladies and gentlemen, holding that bottom line, getting right in touch with Sean Rigas in the 17. And right behind him, we have his good friend Los Fiasco. These guys are going to try to start a little train here on the tri-oval, try to catch Alex Nieto and the rest of those leaders up front. And we have Kyle Bunch tucking in behind that number 11 car, trying to stretch the lead a little bit, but you see that we hop a little bit later into the race on lap 8, coming to lap 9. Kyle Bunch winds up getting pushed up to the top lane, and Los Fiasco in the number 2 car winds up starting to lead some laps here, and he hops over to the top lane, but then he would wind up losing it just a lap later. Christian Torres in the 26 now is ahead. And we have Jade Pagan holding that high line. He needs to get to that bottom lane or else he's going to get left in the dust. Although the top lane can hang, anybody in the top lane will not be able to take the lead. And now we have Jade Pagan, lap 11, holding that lead, coming down, protecting that bottom line because he doesn't want anybody to pass him. This is his race, and he's going to control it. But look who's right behind him, number 10. Fernando Luna looking for the pass. He opens it up a little bit, and he's looking for the pass on the backstretch, trying to go back to back, trying to win the first ever 2 races in the Fiasco NASCAR series. Although the last race at Chicago wasn't official for points, it'll be quite an accomplishment to see if he can go back to back in the first ever 2 races of the series' existence. Now we're going to put on a little focus to the number 8 of Eric Olsen. He's a brand new contestant, brand new entrant into the series after Chicago, and he is right in tune with that 22 of Chris J. These guys are going to try to draft as much as they can to catch up to Jade Pagan in that 56 car because he's starting to pull away, but they will be able to suck him back in. We are in lap 14 right now. Eric Olsen in the 8 car. He actually started in the back of the pack in this race, and he's managed to work his way all the way up to the front, and he is now right on the bumper of Jade Pagan in that 56 car. And right behind Eric Olsen, we have Manny Banejas in the number 34, and behind him, we have Freddie Martinez in that 24 car. Coming to the stripe with 2 laps to go, Jade Pagan is holding on to this race for dear life. He has been leading this race since lap 11. The closest he had to losing it was against Fernando Luna, and Fernando Luna is way back in the pack right now. He is out of contention for this win, and now has come down to 3. We have Sean Rodriguez, Eric Olsen, and Jade Pagan all fighting for the lead right now. It is a 3-horse race for the time being, and everybody knows anything can happen at Daytona. We are a lap and a half away from determining the first ever Daytona 500 champion. Sean Rodriguez is trying to peek on the inside of that 8 car, but I can't get it, so he's going to tuck in right behind Freddie Martinez, and Jose Hernandez are right behind them. It might be a 5-man race, who knows? Or we have no idea. We're coming to the final lap right now. Jade Pagan has 1 more lap to go, and he will become the Daytona 500 champion. But he has a pack of Hungry Wolves right behind him. He's going to block as hard as he's ever blocked before. He has the 8, Eric Olsen, 17, Sean Rodriguez, 24, Freddie Martinez, and number 7, Jose Hernandez right on his tail. He is half a lap away from becoming the first ever Daytona 500 champion in league history. And these 3 cars are starting to pull away a little bit from Freddie Martinez. And the 8 gets clipped by the number 17. The 8 comes back up and he clips Jade. Jade is out of the race. He got turned. It's a massive wreck coming out of turn 4, and the number 8 of Eric Olsen is going to win the Daytona 500. What? What an incredible finish for the first ever race in the Fiasco NASCAR series. The number 8 car of Eric Olsen gets slightly turned by the 17 of Sean Rodriguez, and as the 8 comes back up to the track, he takes out Jade Pagan, the leader, the man who's been leading this race since lap 11. You see right here, he gets clipped a little bit, and he tries to come back up the track. He does not lift whatsoever. You do not lift in the Daytona 500. You put your foot in it and you do it for Dale, baby. That's what you do. Sean Rodriguez accidentally getting a little bit under the 8 car. He obviously didn't mean to do that. He was just looking for a space to try to pass him. That's just racing, man. It is what it is. That's just really bad luck for Jade Pagan. If he was just a little bit further when the 8 came back up the track, nothing of this would have happened. So we have Los Fiasco. We're hopping on board. See his perspective. Absolutely nowhere to go. Only so much you can do when you're running flat out at 200 miles per hour. We see the 22 going on top of him. Cars just flipping everywhere coming out of turn 4. One of the craziest wrecks I've ever seen in Daytona. And are hopping on board with the 22 Chris J, teammate of Los Fiasco, flipping all over the place. There's absolutely nothing none of these drivers can do. So we're gonna follow Fernando Luna, last week's winner. Again, same story, nowhere to go. He starts bail rolling out of turn 4 as he gets hit by Manny Benejas. What an insane finish to the Daytona 500, ladies and gentlemen. That was bananas. God, it just sucks to see the leader, especially at the Daytona 500, get taken out like that. It really reminds me of Eric Almirola earlier this year in the actual Daytona 500. Insane. Well, congratulations to Eric Olsen in that number 8 car. If you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to join the league, comment down below. I'll see what I can do, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.